President-elect Donald Trump is in the middle of building his national security team. So what will he be looking for in his top candidates, and what are the biggest security issues facing America right now? Here to examine those questions is Professor Ryan Mauro, national security analyst with the Clarion Project. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Trump will be facing many national security challenges. What is the biggest challenge he'll need to address when he takes office?
Well, right now, the issue he has to face is the issue of appointments, getting the right people around him. The most immediate issue would be Al-Qaeda and ISIS, obviously. But the issue I really need to hear some articulation on is ISIS's loss is Al-Qaeda's gain. So if Al-Qaeda is picking up the remnants of ISIS and other groups are joining and aligning with Al-Qaeda in Syria as they are, then how do you gain ground against the ideology and the groups that act on behalf of that ideology?
Well, let's talk about the national security team. Who are some of the best candidates for those top positions, like CIA chief, defense secretary, etc.?
I like a lot of the names that are being thrown out there, such as Jim Woolsey, John Bolton, Rudy Giuliani, Jeff Sessions. One name that I am concerned about, and it appears that his star has fallen, is Chris Christie. Because Governor Chris Christie does not have a good record when it comes to issues like Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. He has successfully prosecuted terrorists that try to blow things up, but in the broader fight against radical Islam, his record leaves much to be desired.
Trump has blasted the Iran nuclear deal. Do you think he'll be able to scrap that deal and push for a tougher stance with Iran?
If Trump wants to scrap that deal the second that he takes that oath of office, he can do it. It's an agreement between two countries' leaders, and one of the leaders, ours, is no longer in power at that point. But what I would recommend is that the United States implement tough sanctions on Iran for terrorism and human rights and start backing Iranian opposition groups. The Iranian regime has said they would respond by pulling out of the deal if they did it. I would much prefer to force Iran to scrap the deal than us.
Walid Phares, a foreign policy advisor for Trump, has said the president-elect will work to pass legislation designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist group. What is the history of this bill, and what are the implications of it?
Walid Phares is another name that gives me a lot of confidence. There are few people that I would like to see in an administration more than Walid Phares. There is a bill in Congress to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. The Trump administration makes it more likely than ever that that will happen. The reason that it is important to designate the Brotherhood as a terrorist group is because it is the parent group of Hamas. Hamas is just the Palestinian wing of the Brotherhood. So Hamas is banned in the U.S., but the rest of the Brotherhood is not. And so they are allowed to influence our politics, our debate, our civil society, our policy, and that can go on no longer. That has to be stopped.
Ryan, Trump has spoken about radical Islam and has promised to promote moderate Muslims. Will his policies work in combating radical Islam?
It's going to be difficult for Donald Trump to ally with Muslim reformers against radical Islam. There are some contradictions in his policy he's going to have to iron out. He opposes regime change entirely, but Muslim reformers want their freedom. They want to overthrow their oppressors. They want to ally with the United States, but Trump has said that he believes in taking Middle Eastern oil resources, which is one of the most damaging things I've heard a presidential candidate say, and Muslim reformers will never embrace that. So he's going to have to iron out these contradictions and try to build those bridges with Muslim reformers despite those contradictions.
All right, national security analyst with the Clarion Project, Ryan Mauro, thanks so much for your time, and thank you for your insights.
Thank you.